Okay, this is it. Yeah, we are looking at Rod Brind'Amour because he's just given the Montreal Canadiens a gift. That is exactly what this is. Because Walt Ruff tweeted this out earlier this morning saying who is not on the ice for the Carolina Hurricanes at morning skate in Montreal. Sebastian Aho, Jackson Blake, Jalen Chatfield, Seth Jarvis, no! Jordan Martinook, Jacob Slavin, Jordan Staal, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. How many of these guys is that? Okay, it's literally 7. Chatfield, Martinook, Slavin? That's half the gosh darn decor. Aho, Jarvis, these are 2 of their best players on forward. The Montreal Canadiens are going to likely be playing off against a Carolina team that does not have maybe like half of its significant firepower up on forward and half of its freaking decor. This is what the lineup looks like. Walt Ruff tweeted this out. Svechnikov, Kotkaniemi, Taylor Hall, Robinson, Jankowski, Roslovic. You've got Skylar Brind'Amour as the third-line center with Carrier and Stankoven. And then you have Jost and Bradley Nadeau on the 4th line. There's only 2 players there. On D, you've got Orlov, Burns, Gostisbehere, Walker, Riley Stillman, Scott Morrow, and Dominic Fansori. Pyotr Kochetkov is in the starter's crease here. Now, I said this in the video yesterday, but if Riley Stillman plays any form of significant minutes in today's game for Carolina against Montreal, then the Habs have no reason to not win and destroy Carolina. Okay, we should probably stop hating on Riley Stillman. He's an NHL player. I'm making videos about NHL players in my bedroom. But wow, this guy's got to be playing for the Carolina Hurricanes. Dom Fansori is here listed as the 7th D. If he ends up playing forward with Jost and Nadeau on the 4th line, then I honestly do think that's not a bad idea. He's a really good offensive player. Shane Gostisbehere, I need him to pop off. He's returning, and he's been out for a good chunk of time lately, so my fantasy team has been really suffering. I also do have Seth Jarvis, and he's not going to be playing, it looks like, from the lines and stuff, so that unfortunately is not able to continue. But ultimately, the Montreal Canadiens are going to be playing off against a Carolina team that is such a fraction of what we know they are capable of being that it's kind of ridiculous. This team doesn't really have much to fight for. They're just kind of saying, all right, yeah, we're going to rest our guys. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to have this round 1 matchup, and it's going to be great. We're going to hopefully do some damage because the Hurricanes are always a great team. Carolina versus New Jersey. What a matchup that's going to be. But they've also got 2 games left. A lot of these teams in the NHL only have 1, or they've already completed all their games. But Carolina's got 2 games left. I think they're one of the only teams that has 2 games left. Yeah, no, it's Carolina and Detroit. 2 games left till the end of the regular season. So I guess they're saying, yeah, we'll just get Kotkaniemi back in there, get Gostisbehere back in there. We want these guys to get their reps, and it's against the Montreal Canadiens team that isn't really all too great, and that Kotkaniemi is probably going to want to do well against. Just throwing that idea out there. But imagine that, eh? Kotkaniemi is the first-line center in Carolina. What big news for him. I mean, I'm not saying that, it's impossible for that to ever happen. He's still only 24 years old. But come on, it's Kotkaniemi. Sure, maybe some of us thought that he would have been a first-line caliber center type guy 7 years ago, but now it's like, yeah, he really fell off and he was never able to break through and break past the barriers of the offer sheet and just the reputation that he garnered from that entire fiasco, and now he's here coming back from injury, and he's going to be first-line center in the Canadiens' last game of the season. Demidov, Kotkaniemi, Suzuki, the amount of guys that are going to be on the ice that Habs fans are familiar with. We all know, though, like, Nick Suzuki is a much more superior player than Kotkaniemi, so I would hope that Nick and the rest of the centers on Canadiens are able to beat out this center core. Like, come on, man. Rod Brind'Amour is one of the freaking centers here. He's making his NHL debut in a meaningless game for Carolina. Montreal, this is a gift. The Habs, this is a gift. At the very least, go to overtime. Bring your playoff odds back to 100%. Just for the refresher, if you needed the scoop, we had spoken about all this and more yesterday. But if Montreal gets a point, they get up to 90 points on the season, they're in. They are in the playoffs. They cannot afford to lose this game in regulation to Carolina. Because if they lose in regulation today, and Columbus wins in regulation tomorrow against the Islanders, then Columbus would make the playoffs due to the regulation win tiebreaker. Columbus is at 87 points right now. If they win tomorrow against the Islanders, they'll be at 89. The Habs are currently at 89. So if they lose in regulation, there's a very legitimate 50-50 chance that they could lose their playoff spot. So, Montreal, I am begging you, just make it easy for us. Ivan Demidov, you don't need to start backchecking. Just score. Just pull this team from the depths of embarrassment into the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Just make it easy for everybody and get a point. This Carolina team is depleted. Okay, depleted implies that they're banged up. They're not really banged up. They're just kind of resting. Yeah, they're just resting. Montreal's not. They're putting out their full lineup today. In fact, Ivan Demidov got moved to the new hook and line A line. Yeah, okay, say what you want about Armia. He was pretty good with Ivan Demidov, but this is our new second line in Montreal. Line A, new hook, Demidov. Fourth line goes Heineman, Evans, Armia. So, Evans and Armia back together. Heineman's playing. Line A is with new hook and Demidov. This looks like a team that's willing and ready to make things interesting heading into today's festivities between the Habs and the Canes. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, man. This is gonna be it. I'll say this as well. I'm not gonna be able to make a video about what happens after the game right away. There's a meeting I have to attend. It's a very important meeting, and it's gonna be from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Don't know if it's gonna extend past 8:30, so yeah, I'm going to be missing most of the Canucks game later today as well. I'll miss out the end of this Montreal and Carolina game because the meeting that I'm going to starts at 6:30, which is around the time the Canadiens game is going to end. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to make a video about it. If the Canadiens lose, then I know that a lot of fan sentiment is going to be down in the drain here, so maybe we don't necessarily need to talk about it, but I'll try to put things together and have a product out for y'all later in today's programming. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Rod Brind'Amour's huge gift to the Montreal Canadiens. Kotkaniemi's the first-line center. Rod Brind'Amour looks like he may be playing. No Jarvis, no Jolin Chatfield, no Martinook, no Slavin, no Aho. Unless these guys are going to pull the ultimate ha-ha, how'd you do on us, and they actually do play later today, those guys did not participate in practice. So we'll see what happens later today as the Canadiens play off against this Canes team. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.